Good morning students. Welcome back to Narayan PU College online classes. In the previous sessions we were discussing about chapter 5, that is problem solving methodology. See, problem solving methodology means how we are going to solve a given problem. See, in our day-to-day life we encounter many problems, right? So how we are going to solve that problem using different techniques. But in computers we use a different techniques to solve a given problem. See, all problems cannot be solved by human. So, the problem which cannot be solved by human can be solved using a computer. So, in computer we use different methods or steps to solve a given problems. In that we have discussed the stages of problem solving involves total 6 steps. In that first one is problem definition, second is problem analysis, third one is designing, fourth is coding, fifth is program testing and debugging, and sixth one is documentation and maintenance. See, in problem definitions we gather or we collect the data which is required for solving a problem. Whatever the data we need to solve a given problem, that should be collected in the problem definition stage. So here data or whatever the data we have, that will be collected in this stage. In the next step, problem analysis. In problem analysis we see how that problem can be solved, in which manner or which technology or in which technique we can solve the given problem. Will you analyze the problem according to the given requirements or according to the given data? We analyze how the data can be, how the problem can be solved using problem analysis. Here, what are the data we require, that will be collected in this problem definition stage. In the second stage, in problem analysis, we will understand the problem requirements and we will try to solve the problem using different techniques. In what way we can solve the given problem, we will analyze in this problem analysis. In the next stage, design stage, we are going to, after analyzing the problem, we are going to design the different techniques. Using different techniques, we are going to design a problem. So here it involves two basic steps, that is, one is here algorithm and second this one is a flowchart. So we have two different techniques to design a given problem. One is algorithm and second technique is flowchart. Using these two methods we are going to design a problem according to the data given, and after analyzing the data we are going to design the problem using algorithm and flowchart. Next we have a coding. Coding is nothing but writing a program for this algorithm and flowchart. After the algorithm is designed and flowchart is designed, by using these two methods we are going to write a program or code the programs for the given problem. That is your fourth step. In the fifth step, program testing and debugging. Testing and debugging is nothing. Testing is nothing but we are going to check whether the program is running according to our requirements or not. So in this testing we are going to check whether the given problem is working according to our requirements or not, and in the debugging we will check whether there are any errors in the program or not. That is about program testing and debugging. Program testing means we are checking whether the program is running according to the given requirements and checking the errors. That is testing and debugging. See, after checking all the program for errors, we will do it for documentation. Documentation means we are going to save it in one place and maintain it for a future use. So this is about the stages of problem solving. See, problem definition. In problem definition we are going to collect the data required for the problem, and in problem analysis we are going to analyze how the problem can be solved, using which technique we can solve the given problem. And in the next third stage, designing. Designing means after the problem analysis we are going to design the problem using two different methods, that is algorithm and flowchart. Next is coding. We are going to write a code after designing the algorithm and flowchart. Next we have program testing. We are checking whether the program is running according to the given requirements or not. If there is any errors, that should be solved using this stage. And after testing and the program is running according to the requirement, we are going to save that for future use. So this is about the stages of problem solving techniques. So we'll see one example for this, how the data can be. So now we'll see one example, real-time example, how we are going to solve a problem. See, suppose your task is to prepare a cup of coffee. See what you will do after, if anyone tells you to prepare a coffee, the coffee will not be prepared as soon as they tell. So you need to collect the data in the sense what are the requirements for the preparation of coffee. See, for preparing the coffee we need a gas or any electric stove, a bowl, a coffee powder, sugar and milk. So this is what we need, that will be collected using problem definition stage. See what are the requirements for the given problem, that will be specified using problem definition. The requirements for preparing a coffee is the ingredients required for preparing a coffee will be defined in problem definition stage. See, after collecting all the ingredients, what we will do, we will analyze how that coffee should be prepared, whether we are using an instant coffee powder or we are using any filtered coffee. That will be analyzed. If we are using any instant coffee, directly we will use that instant powder and mix it with a milk or boiled milk or sugar. So if we are using a filtered coffee, we are using that filtered coffee powder with the milk. That is how we can solve a given problem, that will be dependent on the user or designer. So that is what in this stage we are analyzing which technique we can use to solve a given problem. That is the problem analysis. In the next step, that is designing and coding, that will be we are going to start preparing a coffee. So we are mixing all the ingredients together and we are boiling. That will be your designing and coding. In the next step, we are going to test that coffee, whether that coffee is tasty or how the coffee is there, means whether that is according to the whether it is tasty or not. So sugar is less or more, that is testing, right? Though that will be done in this step, that is program testing and debugging. After that, that is documentation and maintenance is nothing but after preparing a cup of coffee, we are going to serve that coffee to anyone. So that will end the process. That is how we are going to solve a given problem. So we have taken an example of preparing a coffee. In this stage, we are going to collect the ingredients required for preparing the coffee. In the next stage, we are going to see which technique is easy and which technique can be used for solving the coffee. And next, we are going to mix it. Next, we are going to check whether the coffee is according to the requirement or not. After preparing a coffee, we are going to serve that coffee to anyone. So this is how we are going to solve a problem using different stages. Next, today we will see, in the last class madam has discussed about algorithm in detail. Today we will discuss what is a flowchart, why we require this flowchart and how we can design a flowchart using different techniques. Okay. Now we will see what is flowchart. So in the last class madam has discussed what is an algorithm. Your algorithm is nothing but it is a step-by-step process of solving a problem. The steps, we have different steps, we are using a different step to solve a given problem. See, algorithm is nothing but it is a stepwise process to solve a given problem. This flowchart is nothing but it is a pictorial representation. Means it is a pictorial representation of an algorithm. Flowchart is nothing but it is a pictorial representation of an algorithm. Once we design an algorithm, by using that algorithm we can design a flowchart, that is in a pictorial format or in a diagrammatic way we can design an algorithm, that we call it as a flowchart. Flowchart is nothing but it is a pictorial representation of an algorithm. So using any algorithm we can design the flowchart. Now we will see the different steps or different symbols used for designing an algorithm. So this is, now we will see the different symbols used to design a flowchart, that is symbols used in flowchart. This is your 5 marks question. This is very important for 5 marks. So then explain the symbols used in flowcharts. So this is, now we will see what are the symbols used. See, now we have name, symbol and purpose. What is the name of the symbol? What is the symbol we are using, and for what purpose we are using the symbol? First is oval. See this oval. This is the symbol used. This is oval symbol. This is used for start and stop. For writing start or stop, that is for beginning or ending the flowchart. In the algorithm, we have in the first step we are writing start, and in the last step we are writing stop. So to design that or to represent that start and stop, we are using this symbol. The name of the symbol is oval. The next symbol is parallelogram. So this is the symbol parallelogram. So this symbol is used for input or output. See, whatever the input we have and what is the output we are getting, to represent that input or output, we are using a symbol called parallelogram. Next, we have rectangle. So this is a rectangle. Rectangle is used for any calculations. In algorithm, if we are writing any calculations, that can be represented in a flow chart using symbol. Calculation in the sense, we are in the algorithm we have solved addition of two numbers. Addition of two numbers means the logic calculation is A plus B. See, this is how we calculate addition of two numbers. To represent this type of calculations, we use a symbol called rectangle. Next symbol is rhombus. Rhombus means this is the symbol used for decisions or branching. Decision in the sense, in any program, in any flowchart, we will be having two or more choices. When we are making any decisions or choices according to the requirements, we will use this decision rhombus for decision or branching. Next symbol is, the name of the symbol is preparation, or we can tell preparation. This is the symbol used for preparation. Preparation is for any loops. We have different loops in programming. In the next chapters you will learn what is a loop and why we need that loop, what are the types of loops. For representing any loop, we are using this symbol. So that is called preparation symbol. Next we have predefined process. Predefined process, the symbol used for predefined processes, this is the symbol used. And why we use this symbol? If you have any sub-program in a program, is small part apart from the main part. So then we use this sub-program. This symbol is used for predefined process. Next we have a connector. Next symbol is, name of the symbol is connector. This is the symbol, like this is like O, or we can tell this is round circle symbol we can use for connector. So why we need this connector in the sense, this is used for connecting to the next page. So sometimes the flowchart will be very big and at the end we cannot continue. If we want to continue to the next page, or at the end if you still we have any flowchart, if you want to continue to the next page, we will use this connector. Sometimes if the program is, if the flowchart is very big, we cannot continue, we cannot represent it in a single page. So in the next step, if in the next page if we want to continue, we are using this symbol, that is called connector. Next we have arrows. Arrows is like towards right or left, up and down arrows. This is used for control flow. Control flow means how we are going to control, in which direction the flow is controlling or the data is flowing. To represent that arrows, we are using this arrows. Arrows is used for control flow. So once again I will explain. The symbols used in flowchart are, this is the symbol oval. It is used for start and stop, or also called as beginning or end. To represent start or stop, beginning or end, we are going to use a symbol called oval. Next we have parallelogram. Parallelogram is used for input or output. To represent input or output, we are going to use this parallelogram. Next we have rectangle. Rectangle is used for any calculations. If we have any calculations in an algorithm, to represent that calculations, we are using this rectangle. Next we have symbol rhombus. Rhombus is used for decision. So when we have more than one choices, we use this rhombus symbol. Next is for preparation. This is used for loops. And next is predefined process. This is used for sub-programs. Next we have a connector. To connect to the next page or to connect any two flowcharts, we are using this connector. This is the symbol used for connection. Next we have arrows. Arrows is used for data flow or control flow, in which direction the control is flowing. To represent that, we are going to use the arrows. The next we will see next topic, that is the steps involved in flowchart. Okay. Next we will see the steps involved in developing a flowchart. We need to know the steps. We need to follow some steps while designing a flowchart. In the first step, clearly understand the problem statement. Means in order to design any flowchart, first you need to understand the problem. What is the problem? What we need to do in the problem. So that should be clearly understood in the first step. Before designing any flowchart, you need to understand what is the problem, what we can do to solve a problem, how we can design a problem. That should be clearly understood before designing any flowchart. So that is clearly understand the problem statement. In the next step, study the output to be generated. Means after defining what is the result should be displayed, on what is the result should we get after designing the process or after performing any operations, what the result should be processed or what the result should we get, that should be analyzed. Means first you need to study or analyze the output, what should we get after processing any operations, so that we can give correct input. See, if I want to perform addition of two numbers, see, after performing the operation a plus b, we need to get the sum of these two numbers. Means here we are giving alphabet, so we can give any values to these alphabets. After performing this addition process, that is operation, we need to get the sum of two numbers. We should not get the subtraction or multiplication of two numbers. We need to get only the sum of these two numbers. So if we know this, what is the output to be get, so we can give input according to the output. So that is study the outputs to be generated so that the inputs can be specified. This is the second step. First you need to clearly understand what is the problem, how that problem can be solved. After analyzing the problem, you need to study the outputs to be generated so that we can give correct input. Next step is design the process which produce the desired result. See, after analyzing what is the problem and how we can generate the output, we can design the flowchart. So this is the designing will come in the next step. So after designing, we should check it for whether the flowchart or whether the program is, whether the operation is performing according to the requirement. So that is test the flowchart by giving the test data. Test data means we can give n number of values to this to test these operations. We can give different values to check whether this addition is performing correctly or not. So not only this addition, we have n number of operations, so we can give a number of values to this, and we can check whether we are getting the correct output or not. That is test the flowchart by giving the test data. This is the steps involved in flowchart. So first step is clearly understand the problem statement. In the next step, study the outputs to be generated so that the input can be specified. Next is design the process which produce the desired result. In the last step, test the flowchart by giving the test data. These are the steps we need to follow before designing any flowchart. Next we will see the importance of flowchart. Now we will design a flowchart for addition of two numbers. You have seen the addition algorithm for addition of two numbers. Just I will write an algorithm first, and then later we design an flowchart for addition of two numbers. In an algorithm, first I am writing an algorithm. So in the algorithm we have different steps. In first step, the first step is always start. So always we are write start in a first step. Next step we are going to write the input, whatever the input we need. See, first what is the requirement for addition of two numbers. I am writing an algorithm for addition of two numbers. For addition of two numbers, we need to input two data. That is two numbers we need to input to the system so that we will get the output. See now what is the input. So we are going to input two numbers or two values. We can give input two numbers. numbers, that is input A and B. See, we can give A and B as two values so that we can compute, or we can add these two values to get the output. Addition of these two will be the result. Next, in the step 3, see what is the problem? We need to add these two numbers, and addition of these two numbers will be stored in another variable or another value. That is, we need to calculate. See this, calculate. So in calculating, we are adding A and B. That is A plus B. See, A plus B, and after adding, the value will be stored in C. Now we need to print this C. Means this should be displayed on your screen. So the value is addition of these two numbers is stored in C. Hence we are going to display C. In the next step, that is step 4, display or print. You can use any words. Display C. So we are going to display this C. In the step 5, see, this is what we have calculated, addition of two values, and we have displayed. This is the end of the algorithm. Next we are going to write stop. Means it shows that we are stopping this algorithm. See, in all algorithm starts with start. This is the beginning. So start. In the next step, whatever the input we need to give for the given problem, that should be specified in the next step. After specifying that, in the next step, if we have any calculations or any performance you can do here, or any process will be done in the next step. Next, in the step 4, we are going to display the result. And the step 5, we are stopping this algorithm. So this is what algorithm. Algorithm means it is a step-by-step process for solving a problem. Now we'll design an algorithm for addition of two numbers. By using this algorithm, we'll design a flowchart for addition of two numbers. See, what is the step we have is start. So we have seen the steps involved in designing a flowchart. The first step is we need to understand what is the problem. Next, we need to see what are the inputs we should give to get the desired output. And in the next step, we need to have different calculations. What is the calculations we have, and after that we can see what is the test data. Test data means we can give n number of values to this, and we can check whether the given operation is performing according to the given requirements or not. That is what the steps involve. Now we'll design an algorithm, flowchart for addition of two numbers. So for start, we have a symbol. What is the symbol we were using? I explained. So this is the symbol used for start or stop. So now I am writing, this is for start. So oval symbol is used for start. So first step is start. Next, we are using this arrow. Why we use this arrow? To see whether this is the flow control, means how the data is flowing, how the process is flowing. In this direction, the process is following. Next, we have input. For input, we have a symbol called parallelogram. So this is the symbol used for parallelogram, input or output. Parallelogram is used for input or output. Now we have input. That is input A, B. Now we are inputting A and B. Next we have calculation. See, here we have a calculation. For calculations we use rectangle. Rectangle is used for any calculations. Means this is calculation. See, this is calculate, or C is equal to A plus B. So this is the calculation part. For calculations we are using rectangle. Here I am writing C is equal to A plus B. Next, for display, means this is output. After performing these operations, we need to display this output. For output also we are using this parallelogram. Again we are using parallelogram for output. See, this parallelogram is used for input and output. For both we are using this. See, this arrow is for flow control, and output or display C. So So we are displaying this C value. After displaying, you are going to stop the flowchart. So this for stopping or for beginning and end, we are going to use a symbol called oval. So this is the flowchart for addition of two numbers. In addition of two numbers, this is a flowchart. So for flowchart for beginning and end, we are going to use an oval symbol. For input and output, we are using parallelogram. For calculations, we are using rectangle. So this is how we are designing a flowchart using algorithm. So this is the first example. Now we'll see one more example. Okay. Now we'll see one more example for flowchart, that is design a flowchart for subtraction of two numbers. In the last example, we have seen the addition of two numbers. Now we will see subtraction of two numbers. First, we design an algorithm for subtraction of two numbers. In step 1, always step 1 will be start. Okay. Next step is input. Here also we need two variables or two values. So input two values. Input two values. So input A and B. In the next step, we are writing logic for subtraction of two numbers, that is calculate or calculation. Here also we are going A. For subtraction we use symbol minus. C is equal to A minus B. So after performing this subtraction operation, we need to display, or the subtraction value will be stored in C. So now we need to display C. So display C. The last step is step 5, that is stop. So this is the steps involved in subtraction of two numbers. So this is an algorithm for subtraction of two numbers. Now we will see the flowchart for this numbers. So what is the first step? Always start. For representing start and stop, we are using oval symbol, that is start. So that is for beginning and end. Now we are beginning the flowchart. Next we have arrows for showing the control, flow of control. Next we have input. So we are using input. We are using a parallelogram symbol for representing the input, that is parallelogram. So this is a parallelogram. What we are inputting? We are inputting A and B. So we are giving input as A and B. What is the next process? Next steps is calculations. For calculations, we use a symbol called rectangle. So rectangle is used for calculation. What is a calculation? Here C is equal to A minus B. C is equal to A minus B. So this is calculation. Next, we using arrow. We are writing. After this calculations, we are displaying the value of C. Display is nothing but your output. See, for output, we use a same symbol, that is parallelogram. So parallelogram is used for both input and output. So display C. Next is, what is the next step? Next step is stop. For stop, we are using symbol, oval symbol. That is stop. So this is how we design a flowchart using an algorithm. So first you need to design an algorithm for any given problem. After designing an algorithm, you can write a flowchart for any problem. So this is how we are going to design a flowchart. So for start and for end, we use a symbol called oval. For input and output, we use parallelogram. For calculations, we are using rectangle, and arrow marks. Arrows we are using for data flow, or in which flow the data is flowing, or in which flow the program is flowing. This is for flow control. So these are the symbols used in flow chart. So this is the flow chart for subtraction of two numbers. Next we will see one more flow chart design. The next program design is addition of, we have seen addition of two numbers, and second one is subtraction of two numbers. Next we will see one more example flow chart. Okay, next we will see one more example for flow chart, that is design a flow chart for simple interest. First we will write an algorithm for finding the simple interest. That is, first step is, in step 1, start. Second step is input. So input values. See, what are the values or what are the inputs we need to give? We need to give principal amount, time and rate of interest. So these are the three values we need to input to calculate the simple interest. So now input P, T and R. So principal amount, time and rate of interest. So these are the three variables we need to input to calculate the simple interest. Next step is, in step 3 we are going to calculate the simple interest, that is calculation. So calculation, what is the formula to calculate the simple interest? Simple interest is equal to P T into R divided by 100. So this is the formula to calculate the simple interest, PTR divided by 100. Next, step 4 is you need to display the output. So display simple interest. See, this calculation value is stored in SI. So we are displaying SI. That will be your output. Next, step 5 is stop. So this is an algorithm for finding the simple interest. First is start, second is input values. The values for input is P, T and R. Next we have calculation. So in calculation we are going to calculate the simple interest. The formula for calculating the simple interest is PTR divided by 100. Next we are going to display the result, and next is the stop. Next we will design the flow chart for simple interest. See, what is the first step? First step is start. For start or for beginning the flow chart, we use a symbol called oval. So start. Next is the input value. So we are going to input the values. For input we use a symbol called parallelogram. So parallelogram, input. What is the input? P, T, R. Input P, T and R. Next, what is the next step is calculations. For calculation, we use rectangle symbol. Now, SI is equal to P into T into R divided by 100. This is calculation. Next is display the results. For displaying or for output, we use parallelogram symbol. So display SI, that is simple interest we are displaying. The next step is stop. So for stop or ending the flow chart, we use a oval symbol, that is stop. So this is the flow chart for finding the simple interest. This is an algorithm for simple interest, and this is the flow chart for simple interest. So in the next class we will discuss few more flow charts, few more examples for flow charts. Now I will just have a revision of today's class. In today's class we have discussed about the stages involved in problem solving, and next we have discussed about flow chart. flowchart is nothing but it is a pictorial representation of a algorithm. Means it is a diagrammatic representation or pictorial or graphical representation of an algorithm. So in flowchart we have discussed about the symbols. The symbols used in flowchart. The oval symbol is used for start or end. The symbol used for start or end or beginning or end is oval. For any input or output we use a symbol called parallelogram, and for calculations we use rectangle symbol, and rhombus we are using. We were using a rhombus. Rhombus is for decision making. See, when we have more than one choices in any program, we use this symbol rhombus. And we have for loop we were using a preparation symbol, and we have predefined process that is used for sub problems, and we were using this circle symbol for connectors. So connecting from one page to another page, and this arrow marks left side, right side, up and down arrow marks were used for data flow or flow control. So this is the symbols used in your flowchart. Next we discussed about steps involved in flowchart. The steps, what is the steps? First what we need to do? First we need to clearly understand what is the problem. Next we need to see what is the output will be generated after giving the input, so that input can be easily given. And next we need to design the flowchart. After analyzing the output and inputs, we are going to design a flowchart. Next we give different values to test the data, to test whether the program is, whether the operation is performing according to the given requirements or not. So these are the steps involved in designing a flowchart. Next we discussed about a flowchart for addition of two numbers and subtraction of two numbers. Next we have discussed about the flowchart for designing a flowchart for simple interest. In the next class we will discuss few more flowcharts. So this is the end of this session. We will meet in the next session. Thank you.